Right now, you think you're in control. You decided to be here. You choose to listen to me. You can check your phone wherever you want, right?
But what if I told you you're not the one calling the shots? What if I told you that 90% of the almost 35,000 decisions you have made today aren't actually yours? That before you even think you're choosing, your brain has already decided for you. And here's the wild part. Those imperceptible decisions, they're so predictable that they can be hacked. They already are, right now, in ways you don't even realize. But here's the good news. Once you identify them, you can rewrite them. And that turns the smallest shift into a seismic change. But here's the real question. Have you actually ever seen them? The JAM experiment states otherwise. A few years ago, a team of researchers at Harvard ran a simple experiment. They set up 2 displays of jam in a grocery store. One with 6 flavors, the other with 24. Logically, you think the display with more choices would lead to more sales, right? Nope. The display with fewer choices sold 10 times more jam. 10 times more. Why? Because too much choice disrupts our sense of stability. When we're making a decision, we're often just following a hidden script guided by ingrained neural pathways that favor routine and efficiency, pushing us toward the more easier automatic option. But this doesn't just apply to jam. It applies to everything. The news we believe, the careers we choose, the relationships we stay in. So let me ask you, could a tiny random choice, like skipping the song or ordering a pumpkin spice latte, actually change your life? Or better yet, could it change the world? One small action can set off a chain reaction far beyond what we'd expect. Take the Arab Spring, for example. In 2010, a fruit vendor named Mohammed Bouazizi stood on a crowded street in Tunisia, humiliated, desperate, and out of options. His produce cart, his only source of income, had just been confiscated by the police. They had slapped him, insulted him, and refused to hear his pleas. So he made one final decision. He self-immolated. A personal act of despair, right? A tragic, isolated moment. Except it wasn't. It was a reflection of the injustices occurring at the time. Within hours, news of Bouazizi's act spread. People began protesting. Within days, demonstrations filled the streets of Tunisia. And then, those protests ignited revolutions across the Arab world. A single decision, one man's personal moment of despair, disrupted an entire system and triggered the Arab Spring, a moment that reshaped the future of the globe. But how does one man's action spiral into something so massive? This is the butterfly effect in action. The butterfly effect is the idea that a tiny, significant leap an important event can create a massive, unpredictable consequence. It comes from chaos theory, a concept in mathematics and physics which suggests that a butterfly flapping its wings on one part of the world through a chain reaction of events causes a hurricane on the other side of the planet. Bouaziz's act was the flap of a butterfly's wings. Small, local, personal. But that single decision, that single moment, that single spark triggered a chain reaction, a domino effect that topped the world, reshaped borders, and changed lives. And here's the thing, this pattern happens over and over again. A single decision made by one person in one moment can ripple outwards in ways no one could have predicted. And you might be thinking, okay, that's an extreme example. My choices aren't that dramatic. But what if I told you they don't have to be? Because the world isn't shaped by bold, world-changing acts. It's also shaped by millions of tiny choices aligning in the same direction. I'm sure you all know of the Ice Bucket Challenge, a simple idea that started spreading in Facebook in 2014. Dump a bucket of ice water over your head. Post a video. Tag 3 friends to do the same. It was fun. It was silly. It was completely random. But it wasn't random. Each challenge triggered a chain reaction. One person tagged 3 people, then those 3 people tagged 3 more. What started as a small personal decision exploded into an exponential movement. And the result? The Ice Bucket Challenge raised $220 million for ALS research. A viral internet trend, what seemed like a meaningless social media challenge, accelerated the progress of medical research and changed lives. But here's the key. No one planned this outcome. The people dumping ice on their heads, they weren't thinking about funding genetic discoveries. They weren't expecting to reshape the future of ALS treatments. Yet their small individual actions, when scaled across millions, led to an unpredictable, world-changing force. Forces that are shaped by other factors. So what happens when companies shape those factors? The last video you watched, the last post you liked, it felt like your choice, right? But what if I told you it wasn't? Every search you make isn't just giving you answers, it's teaching the algorithms what to show you next. Every post you like isn't just reflecting your opinion, it's locking you into a digital echo chamber. Netflix knows what you're going to watch next before you do, and places those titles front and center. Amazon predicts what you're likely to buy next, and subtly suggests it, increasing the chances you'll discover it on your own. YouTube's AI can determine what type of content will keep you watching for hours and subtly nudges you towards it without you even realizing. This is why 80% of what we watch on Netflix, listen to on Spotify, or buy on Amazon comes from recommendations, not searches. Because by the time you think, I'll watch this, I'll listen to this, or I'll buy this, your mind isn't deciding. It's catching up. And when millions of people decide the same thing, it creates billion-dollar industries. But this doesn't just apply to technological factors. It surrounds the tiniest of actions we take every day. Let's look at a situation. Imagine you're walking into a grocery store. You think you're browsing freely, making your own choices, right? But what if someone rearranged the entire store just for you? Placing your favorite snacks at eye level, making sure they see what you want to buy first, and subtly nudging you towards what's most profitable for them. This is exactly what happens online. Spotify learned that slower, sadder songs kept users listening longer, so playlists gradually shifted towards more melancholic music. With online shopping, a few people start ordering clothes online. The algorithms notice and promote shopping ads to more users. More people click, retailers shift focus, and suddenly, brick and mortar stores struggle. A decade later, shopping malls are closing down, and e-commerce giants like Amazon dominate retail. Even with streaming platforms, a handful of people cancel cable. Streaming platforms take notice, refine their recommendations, and binge watching becomes the norm. As millions follow, networks lose viewers, advertisers pull out, and the cable industry collapses, one subscription at a time. None of these shifts happen overnight. No single person caused them, yet millions of micro decisions guided by algorithms stacked up into an unstoppable, world-changing force. This is the algorithm of human decisions at work. At first, our choices seem insignificant, but history has shown us otherwise. Because the world isn't just shaped by bold, world-changing acts, it's also shaped by millions of micro decisions. Algorithms thrive on stability. They create predictable patterns of behavior. But when we recognize this, we can disrupt the script and choose intentionally. So the real question is, are you making the choice? Or is the choice making you? Every decision we make, no matter how small, creates a ripple. A single click can shift an algorithm. A single trend can reshape an industry. A single challenge can fund a cure. Individually, our choices seem insignificant. But history has shown us otherwise, because the world doesn't change from one big decision. It also changes when millions of small choices, your choices, align into something unstoppable. And here's what I need you to understand. You are already shaping the future. Not someday, not when you're older, not when you have more power, more resources, more influence. Right now. And maybe you think you're just one person. Maybe you think your decisions are too small to have an impact. But so did the first person who dumped a bucket of ice over their head. So did the first person who refused to stay silent. Start the first person who stood when the world told them to sit. So ask yourself, will I let the world script my choices, or will I break the script and rewrite it myself? Because someone, somewhere, is waiting for the change that only you can create. And the future, it's not coming. It's waiting for you. Thank you.